What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, fight I want to talk about: Devin Haney versus George Kambosos 2. The fight pretty much went similar to the way I thought it would go, with Devin Haney dominating him again. Wasn't claiming a knockdown or knockout. Didn't know, if that was going to be the case, but I felt like he would dominate him, and he did. All of the theatrics, his dad Bill trying to hype the fight up, and him and Cambosa's dad and their little shoving match, and they're on there, all up on the stage trying to get people hyped up for the fight. This fight was already etched in stone ahead of time because it was in the contract that they would have two fights. Otherwise, after the first fight, I was convinced there was no need for a second fight. Haney did what he was supposed to do. He did what he had to do. George Kambosos is a good fighter. He is a good fighter. He finally gave Devin Haney the props that he deserved, because you don't sound too intelligent trying to discredit someone that's beaten you convincingly twice. So anytime a fighter tells you first time there was complications, or it was this, it was that, this time, this is the best training camp I had, and I did everything different, much better, you're going to see a different fighter come fight night, and even if they do better, in the rematch or something, it doesn't, but they still lose, and they lose by a wide margin. It just means you still have to get even better than you are to ever be able to beat that person that just defeated you twice. So, Devin Haney agreed to all of those terms. He took both fights on those horrible terms. He is the undisputed champion. And guys who are not deserving of a shot are the only ones trying to call him out. The other guys, the elite guys, let's put it that way, they're trying to fight other people, but not Devin Haney. Out of all the champions, Devin Haney is at the top of the list for me, because not only is he skilled, but his heart. And I'm not talking about nobody else's pound for pound list. I'm talking about guys who are going in this ring dedicating themselves to this sport and showing the skills, but not getting the credit. So I don't care about a franchise championship, and neither does Devin Haney. I don't care about Ring Magazine. I don't care about any of that other nonsense, because you see, there's a favoritism thing going on there. Certain people get the nod versus others, even though these people are putting the work in. So when you're in a division and people are trying to say that the undisputed guy is boring, nobody wants to see him, no, you guys know that it's going to be very difficult to beat him. And that's why they don't want to fight him. And I will remind you guys every chance I get, if need be, when people start talking this, oh, he ain't fought nobody. What you mean he ain't fight nobody? Please, when Devin Haney was the mandatory for Lomachenko opted to become franchise champion and drop his WBC title, but let Ryan Garcia or Raleigh Romero or Teofimo tell the story. He's an email champion. Well, why did he get the WBC? The thing was, people made it sound like Lomachenko was done wrong, or like he was stripped or something. Like, no, he gave his title willingly instead of fighting Devin Haney. And when Ryan Garcia was the number one contender and the mandatory for Devin Haney, you know what he did? He bowed out gracefully. Oh, I'm going to fight my idol, the legend Manny Pacquiao, in an exhibition. All this back and forth, he's going to fight Teofimo, then he's going to fight this guy, then he ends up with mental health issues, all this crap. Well, you can only fight who wants to fight you. He was getting in Teofimo's face every chance he could, And again, people was, oh, he's capping. He's just trying to make it look like he want to fight a guy by getting the guy's face telling him he want the fight, as opposed to sitting up on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook or whatever, just making videos talking trash about who he wants to fight, but making no effort. Crap. And let me say this, and I'm going to say this again, because see me, I kill this falsehood and these bullshit stereotypes that we create and try to tag on people as a way of making excuses. He's accomplished all of this, and he's only 23 years old. And I get so sick of people coming to me talking about how, oh, Canelo was only 23 when he fought Floyd, or how this guy was only this age. Right. Again, like I said, Canelo was only 23, but Floyd was getting ready to turn 37 damn years old. He was too young, but Floyd wasn't too old. But yet, when Floyd fights somebody, again, 35, oh, they were old. So at the end of the day, the whole point is, this man did what he had to do. He's 23 years old. He's not making excuses for winning, losing, whatever. It's no, oh, this guy was too old and that's why he beat him, or the guy was too young. No. Devin Haney has been trying to get these fights forever. What you don't want to see a fighter do is they're in a certain position, and then it just gets to the point where they don't want to fight the top guys. So I give credit where it's due. And when I smell that brown stuff, I speak on it. So it don't matter if it's Haney, if it's Tank, if it's AJ, who I don't care who it is. I'm not looking for fault in people, but I will not sit back and act like I don't see what's going on. This is a fight I wasn't really up for. I wanted Haney to win the fight, and he did win the fight. But I wasn't really interested in this fight, and pretty much I felt like it was going to, it played out the way it was going to play out, with another dominating performance. And I give him credit for what he did, because he went there and did it twice, and in someone else's backyard against with horrible terms. So at the end of the day, now that he's got this out the way, we'll see what's next. Will it be Lomachenko? Does Tank Davis want to actually fight him? Okay? Because Ryan Garcia is talking about him and Tank. And then all of a sudden, secretly under the table, negotiations are going on, according to Ryan Garcia's dad. And it's like, what's wrong with you guys? You guys are the elite in your divisions, and you want to keep things secret. Now, it's good to keep everything quiet until you're sure everything's going to happen. And the reason is because it's too many times in boxing now we hear about a fight and then it doesn't happen. But it's crazy when you are the champ, but you're the hunter and not the hunted. And you guys can tell yourselves whatever you want, but the reason these guys don't want no parts of Haney, because they know this guy is a hard puzzle to solve. They can talk all this, he's boring, he doesn't have power, he this, he that. Well, with what you guys are criticizing him for, he's the undisputed champion. Not unified, not because of a franchise championship, not because of no invisible belt that you can't see, but he is the champion at 135. And you mean to tell me there's nobody that really want a piece of him? All these other fighters bring up every other fighter's name. And unless an interviewer say, what about Devin Haney? Oh, yeah. Well, why would you be talking about anybody other than the champ? And you're saying you want to fight the best in the division. You want the best. Well, who's better than Devin Haney? And even if you think Tank will beat him, I don't care. It's not about what we think. Let's look at the reality. He has what everybody should want in the division, and that's all the damn titles. So why would you be so hell-bent on trying to fight other people? And then this whole, oh, he's not popular. Every excuse to not fight him. You guys can sit back and allow these excuses because you're hearing this from your favorite fighters outside of Devin Haney. Well, at the end of the day, if you're going to jump on Twitter and Instagram and blah, 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 then that's what you need to go and have. Have a Twitter belt made up. Let's see who can argue the best. And y'all fight for that on Twitter like y'all always do. I like Tank as a fighter. Tank is a guy, whoever he fights, I roll with Tank. But I feel the same way with Devin Haney. But at the same time, we're not just going to keep blaming Floyd and Ellaby because Tank Davis has a mouth. Tank Davis is a grown man, can speak for himself. And what I don't like that Tank does is Tank always jumps on Twitter or whatever and says some shit to Haney or about Haney. But it's like Bill Haney said, these fighters say everything except for let's fight. And this is my whole thing. It's like, okay, yeah, you sell out the Barclays Center, your popularity is up and all that, fine. But you can't possibly be that stupid to not acknowledge Devin Haney is one of the best in the game and in your division. And instead of trying to fight this guy, I mean, you and Ryan, do you guys want to fight or not? Do you want to fight Shakur Stevenson? Stevenson is not even at 135 yet. And there's more speculation about him fighting Lomachenko before everybody else. My whole thing is this. With Lomachenko, if he's going to be next for Devin Haney, beautiful. He beats Lomachenko. I don't want to hear nothing about Loma was old. I don't want to hear none of that nonsense. Nobody's saying that about Lomachenko right now. And I'm putting all you on notice. Right as of now. Nobody's talking about, Lomachenko's old. No, let's not hear that. And everybody was highly impressed with his last performance, right? Devin Haney's skill set is different. It's different. Lomachenko has way more to deal with Haney than he did with Lopez. The only thing that he had to deal with as far as TFMO is Lopez hits harder than Haney. In terms of his boxing skills, nah. And if y'all think Lomachenko's going to run through Haney, you're lying to yourselves. You're trying to make him a better fighter than what he is. I like Lomachenko as a fighter, and he's a skilled guy. But we need for these fights to happen instead of all this talking and so-called call-outs, but then the fights don't go down. And I don't see Devin Haney trying to back down. And even though Devin Haney is undisputed champion, he still has the hunger like he's not. And a hungry, dedicated fighter who wants more, that's skilled, always difficult to beat somebody like that. So when Lomachenko dropped his belt, Devin Haney was only, I think, 20 at the time. 20, yeah. So you ask yourself, why did Lomachenko do that? What did he possibly think? What was the whole purpose of dropping his title to become franchise? Did he go up and down and wait and fight other fighters? Did he honor what the franchise champion was designed for, aside from ducking your mandatory? You understand what I'm saying? It's because basically, and listen, this is just reality. What did he do after he dropped his belt? What did he do? He chose to do that. And according to Mauricio Suleiman, him and Canelo both asked to be franchise champion. And I want to see where they denied that. Because if that's the case, well, and this is, listen, this ain't even about taking shots. This is just reality. What's the purpose of saying, okay, this is my mandatory. I'm going to drop my belt and become a franchise. And then do what after that? Then do what? What was the significance? So, anyway, if that's the next fight, cool. And it's crazy because you got Lomachenko on the table, Tank on the table, Ryan on the table. That's if they want the fight. If they want the fight. So I won't be shocked. The way boxing has been going, I won't be shocked if he ends up, his next opponent is like Isaac Cruz, who's a good fighter. But I say that because it's just something about these guys that they don't want to get in there with the top guys. And after me seeing Devin Haney do what he did, and then so many people trying to talk like Kambosos was going to put it on him, and all this other nonsense, they're crossing their fingers hoping he lose. It's all good. But when he wins, then what? Kambosos know the truth. He knew from the very beginning that this is going to be a difficult fight. He knew it. And that's why he tried to keep cool and was chewing that gum every time you saw him 100 miles per hour, because he knew I'm in for a test that I still don't know how to beat this guy, but I'm going to try. So they both fought a good fight. Kambosos did the best he could. Haney did what he could do. And on top of this, I don't know how long Haney is going to stick around at 135. Come fight night, come the night of the weigh-in, if you look at him, he looks drained. His face looks very skeletal. He looks like a whole different person when he does his weigh-in to make this 135. So I think soon he's going to end up going to 140. And then you're not going to get him and Orion, him and Tanker. And I feel like, to be honest with you, I don't care what anybody says. I think Ryan Garcia is complacent with not fighting Tank, with not fighting Devin Haney. And that's why he called Tank out for 140, and he's not even at 140. I think he's just complacent with that. And if this fight actually does happen, well, it should happen. You're not doing people a favor. I get so sick of hearing, oh, I gave you credit because you didn't have to take this fight. You could have fought someone else. Why would you? You are an elite fighter, right? If you're an elite fighter, you fight elite fighters. So anytime I hear an elite fighter say, or so-called elite fighter say, I could have fought anybody, but I chose to fight this guy. Or when an interviewer brings that up and the fighter doesn't say, hey, listen, I'm an elite fighter. I wouldn't have it any other way. Why would I not want to fight another elite guy? Because that's the kind of answers I'd give, because that's what be coming from the heart. That would be the facts, the truth. Not I could have fought anybody else. I lose so much respect for a so-called fighter when I hear them say that. I could have fought anybody else, but I fought you. Okay, why would you not? That's what you get paid millions of dollars to do. Not go in here and play eeny, meeny, miny, that hoe. That's what these guys do. And it's like they make it seem like they're doing us a favor. Do you realize without us, y'all have no careers? So I'm speaking to y'all's souls right now. I'm not talking to you just to talk to you. I'm dead serious with everything I'm saying. So all this nonsense about, and even as a so-called fan, you guys make me sick to my stomach with repeating that, he could have fought anybody, but he chose to fight. Well, why would you not want to see the elite fight the elite? And I keep saying this, and I'm going to continue to say it. An elite fighter, a champion, should not be fighting subpar fights. They should not be ducking their mandatories and fighting the best fighters so they can go fight an easy fight. They should not do that. When you have a fighter who's at a crossroads, they're at that rebuilding stage of their career, I get it. But aside from that, no, there's no excuse from that. You have a guy willing, ready, and able, but you choose, nah, not him. I'm going to fight this guy. Why? Because he's a softer touch. Anyway, talk to me in the comment section. Salute to Devin Haney. Salute to George Kambosos. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all in the next video.